The spoils of war were also its weapons.
We are here live with Tech Fireside Chats.
Resources, China would invade Alaska.
Oh my God, what's going on? This is terrible.
Canada, and the European Commonwealth.
What's up, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Now it looks like I'm all slow or something. Something's going on here. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, you're like lagging. It's interesting.
Is it lagging? Is it working now?
Your video lags, but I can hear you.
Okay. Oh, I think it caught up. Everything caught up. Good.
Oh, there you go. Cool.
All right. So we're here with Kyle Morrand, CEO of 302 Interactive. Good afternoon, Kyle.
How's it going?
Good, good. So thanks for joining me for another edition of Tech Fireside Chats. I tried to do a little Fallout intro there. It kind of backfired. And
No
so
worries.
we are talking to a CEO of a gaming company, so I wanted to represent one of my favorite franchises, which, by the way, is now going to be an Amazon show with the producers of Westworld. I got chills just watching the preview. So, you know the format. We changed it up a little bit. We're trying to find the right settings for this and to get the game community and the tech community and all the entrepreneurs that I interact with to get, you know, sort of behind the show and start building a little following. So like always, I have a cup of coffee with my, this week, it's my Ryan Reynolds mug. And what are you drinking? What do you have there?
I have just a plain black mug. But it's
Oh, right. No logo. Wow. That's
no
the
logo.
that's there. Cheers. Thanks for joining me. So you have an interesting story. South Florida native, now one of the founders of the Orlando game space and the CEO of 302 Interactive, which I understand you started this in your dorm room or your dorm in college using Kickstarter, which I think was pretty cool. Maybe I'll, you know what? Let me turn it over to you. Tell the viewers your story, and let's hear how you start a company with you know, basically in your 20s with no money. I've done that before, by the way. It's not easy. Tell us your version of this story.
Yeah. Like I said, I started 302 in my dorm room, 302. I was 21 years old, and that's kind of everybody's favorite question is like, what is 302? So that's what it is. It's just the number that I had on my dorm at the time. I needed an idea for a name. I had an idea for not even a company, really, just an idea for a game, a very large game. I was 21 years old, just getting into game design, and I wanted to take a shot on an idea that I had. Got some friends together. We built a Kickstarter. To do a Kickstarter, you need a company. So I started an LLC and kind of went on the races from there. That idea initially failed horribly, to be honest, but it spurred a lot of...
I like that. You know, you learn more from failure than success, let me tell you.
Absolutely. It spurred a lot of what we're doing today in terms of just doing game development, but also working with a lot of different technologies. I personally have a background in simulation. I was doing a couple full-time jobs on what they call IRAD, which is like internal research and development, working with virtual reality headsets at the time and some AR headsets. And that kind of led me to this new space of games, but technology, or what I call like games for everything else, where we're using AR and VR to make games on different platforms for variety.
I saw some of that. I saw some of that at Synapse. You had one of your partners was showing how you could use it for rehab, basically, right?
Yeah, physical therapy for kids.
Oh, and I can imagine the uses, you know, from the military to post-traumatic stress disorder. I mean, it's cutting edge, but it's true. You have to relive certain moments or train, right?
Yep. Yeah, and there's, I mean, like you said, there's on the military side, but there's also the marketing side. Education has a big play in that. Tourism's getting into like VR and AR. Like all these different industries are now really interested in the technology that we use for games, how that can be applied to their industry as well.
And I don't know what's going on, but if you've been watching anybody, one of our listeners, we're in this. And some of the topics that we talk about are post-COVID, the post-COVID world, or we're still in COVID. If you notice when the show was filmed, we're very much in COVID. Mobile games and video games are just, lack of a better word, blowing up. I mean, everybody is spending all this time playing games, right? I mean, they're at home, they're with families, and you guys have grown, expanded during the crisis while everybody's like shrinking. What's up with that? I mean, no, seriously, what's up with that?
Yeah. I mean, like you said, there's people at home now, I think, that are looking at their businesses, looking at their industry, and either identifying that, hey, we did the right thing and we focused on the digital, or we weren't doing the right thing and we have no digital plan and now we need one. Whether
Can you
it's
talk of some of these games, like some of the stuff you're working on, or is it top secret NDA? Can you?
there's one game we're working on. It was I'll say it was based off of a card game that now wants to go digital.
Okay.
And that's kind of like to the point of
Can you talk about any park work or FEC work, or is there anything you can talk about?
No, not really.
Okay. I won't mention it, but you're big, man. People know you.
But yeah, there's like I said, there's a variety of different games I think that we're working on. We're working on another game called The Commission, which is like a strategy game that'll be released sometime this year. We're excited about that. We're getting a lot of attention just because people are focused on the game side right now.
Nice. Okay. And maybe we can show your video here of what you guys do now. This might be interesting.
Give that a run.
I'll just sip here from this mug of the guy who used to be married to Scarlett Johansson and is now married to Blake Lively. Oh, okay. There's no sound for some reason, but I can make sound for you if you like.
Yeah, we can just talk over it.
Okay, so this is some of your AR work, like the bobblehead.
Yeah, that's the Verapis, the physical therapy project we were working on. We worked on it for a couple of years, and that one was really fun because it's really focused on like kids and just helping them through this technology. There's another project, Electrify, which is more focused on like marketing, how you can use AR to kind of productize marketing.
I love that. I tried doing that when I was with DMP to add that to the pictures, but I think it's just starting to really, really take off now.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's more than just the content, right? It's the strategy behind it. It's how do you actually get this content into the user's hand? Because it's not something that they're just normally used to. You don't use AR and VR every day. So there has to be that strategy of getting them into the experience, which is what we typically focus on helping with.
Great video. And you work with some of the other leading companies. I know we were talking about when we were at IAPA, we talked to what is it, Steamroller, right?
Yes,
Steamroller. They just had a really good cartoon that had this whole Dragon's Lair vibe. Do you have that?
I do. I want to show it off because they're a big partner for us. I love working with those guys, especially Phil and Keith, but Jalil and Adam, all four of them. I've been super happy with them.
Spice Frontier, that's it. I love it. I absolutely love it. I had this whole like 1985 in space vibe. It should be a video game, really. You should make the game for them.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, but like a retro game, like Dragon's Lair, where you only have like 3 choices, right?
Right, just keep it simple. Yeah,
simple.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's in space. He's looking for the spices. He's got a little robot. It's awesome. It's like,
they're for us. I'll be honest, as an entrepreneur, for me, like you said, I'm in my 20s, and these guys are a little bit older. They have more industry experience, so I look to them as like my guiding edge, if that makes sense. Like they're a mentor for me. I've known them for years. Keith and I have the same birthday, which is fun. Seeing them accomplish this and how far they've kind of grown to now, I think they're like 100+ people at their studio, is really motivating and helpful for me to know that I'm kind of on the right track, and they help guide me there.
I got a couple of friends at Netflix. They should pick this up, really make it into
Absolutely.
Actually, we interviewed somebody from Netflix like 2 weeks ago, so this is great.
Right. Yeah, all that.
Yeah. So my good friend Najee, former CTO of Brightbox, where I really got into technology. I love this. I don't want to spoil it for people, but please go Vimeo and check it out and check out their website. And you know what? I'm a really bad host. I should be putting on your site here at the bottom. Talk to me. Is there anything I didn't mention? What are you working on now? What do you recommend somebody who's looking at investing or a company starting a mobile game that you could that you want to talk about?
Yeah. So I'll say with 302, what we're kind of working on now is a bit of a shift. We really grounded ourselves in the service work and figuring out how we can support and help people grow their products. And now we're getting a little bit more excited on how we can kind of grow our own products. We have some ideas in terms of like what mixed reality looks like for the future. In the next, I would say 2, 3, 5 years, people are kind of excited about, Apple's going to come out with their headset whenever that happens. But we're slowly but surely planning towards how we can be a part of that conversation. is about as much as I could say with that. And as far as today and how we can kind of help, our big thing is digital strategy and development. If you're interested in how 3D content, spatial, AR, VR, all of these things kind of work, I like to take the flashy gimmicks of AR and bring it into a practical application that's a strategic focus towards supporting your business instead of just making another flashy experience, if that makes sense.
Oh, I agree completely. Now, I look at it from a totally different point of view. He's at home. He's at home.
Yeah, I gotta
caller. Is it delivery? Is it Amazon? What's
I
going
don't
on?
know. There's a van outside my house.
Oh, you know what? You never know these things, man. It's a weird world we live in. Do you have to take that? Do you want me to put you in pause?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Yeah, I'll just take over. So
Okay.
hold on, we have a caller here. Who's this?
Hi,
Hey.
my name's Chad.
Chad. Oh, thanks for joining us today. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, man?
Good. It's been ages since we hung out. What's that T-shirt? What are you wearing there?
Full Sail Alum.
Oh, nice.
Full Sail Alum.
I love that you have your toy collection in the back.
Oh, right? Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to view Kyle's. Wait, maybe you'll have somebody join us for the interview. So when you talk to me, you know a lot. You're doing a lot with AR, VR with Brand XR, right?
Yes. So I'm Brand XR's executive producer. So I've been handling with them for a couple years, mainly a lot here recently. But I handle and manage their external projects. So
cool. We had your CEO on the show a couple weeks back, which is with Netflix, which is really cool. So yeah. Brand XR, talk to me about what you guys are working on now, because we don't know how long. Kyle's back. And I think he works with you guys too. So this is good. Let me unmute him.
Yeah. So the cool thing about Kyle and my relationship, so some of the projects that he had mentioned in his video early, supporting Brand XR. And so I've kind of been I was that individual that came in to kind of take what they had initially built and kind of continue forward for where they kind of developed an R&D kind of mentality. So.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you came in. You came a bit early, but I'm glad you saved the show there for a second. Kyle, I think so today's episode is about Kyle, so we're going to bring the focus. Do you have a question for our guest?
Me? Yeah. So actually I do. So someone who focuses in production, and we've known each other for a decent amount of time. I would love to hear your thoughts on dealing with new types of technology and how handling production of something like that, with balancing different types of clients and how you might be able to support that in a better capacity, just due to certain requirements are going to be met in different ways. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Absolutely. That's a great question. I would say first word that came to my mind is expectations. I think not just setting expectations, as most people try to let's set expectations, but let's explore expectations. I think there's an importance with the kind of clients that we work with, to really have a healthy relationship where you're iterating and exploring together rather than just delivering on something, especially something you've never done before, right? When there's a lot of R&D with a new piece of technology, there's a lot of unknowns and there's a lot of bugs and issues and things like that. Something that we started doing recently this year is kind of like a discovery phase for all of our projects, where we're able to explore expectations with our clients and learn with them. We'll set a kind of timeline for ourselves of, for example, a project we just started. We have a 6-week time window to explore how we can kind of accomplish and what they're looking to get done. And then from that discovery, we'll learn how long something takes to get done, what kind of gaps that we don't know that may or may not work, and if we need to change the scope or we need to change budgets or anything like that. But what that allows is we can, instead of telling them from the start, hey, it's going to take 6 months to do this, and then 5 months into it, you learn it's actually going to take 9 months. We're able to discover with them and create that relationship right from the start, and so that they know that they're involved in the process of that R&D together. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So with this discovery phase that you were talking about, my other question was dealing with like needs, wants, and expectations of a stakeholder. Is that what if have you found a situation where you're starting to have conversations and they kind of don't know what they want? Is this a kind of a time where you can kind of establish that?
Yeah.
Or is that something that you would kind of differ, like, depending, it's like you can have somebody be like, I want this. And you're like, well, that to meet that is going to take you so much time
Right.
of like, but you have to figure out how you get there. And they might not be aware of those steps.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I want this flashy Lamborghini, right? But it's like, we gotta build a Volkswagen before we get to the Lamborghini.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think something that we do at 302, and this is actually my role with most projects now, is understanding why. Why do you want a Lamborghini? Do you want a Lamborghini just because it's flashy and fun? If that's the case, I can give you something else super cheap for flashy and fun. Or if you actually want a car and you need to get you somewhere, then let's talk about why you need a car and the aspects of that car before we start talking about how to make it look like a Lamborghini. I think that's a good analogy that you kind of brought up, is really understanding why somebody wants something. You can almost convince them and sell them on something else entirely, which is usually for you better because you're more in control of what it is that you're selling back to them, rather than their very large nebulous idea that they have no idea how to build and how to structure and how to design, if that makes sense.
It's more comes down to the mindset.
So
Absolutely.
jumping in with a completely unrelated topic, because I want to keep the show fun and entertaining, so people don't drop off, and we have a few minutes left. You were recently evacuated from Japan. I mean, it wasn't like Godzilla or anything. It was like serious, like you had to get out because of COVID, right?
Yeah. I was in Japan I was there for 6 months, since last October.
Tell us the real story. Well, why did you leave?
Why did I leave? Yeah, I was there. I was working. It was like a Wednesday. I went into work and they said, Kyle, we bought you a ticket to send you back. We were working on a project for Universal. So Universal made the decision. Was that?
Are you allowed to talk about that?
I could say I was working for a project for Universal. Yeah.
Good people at Universal Studios. I like that they flew you back. That's good.
Yeah, they really had to focus on taking care of us, and so they made the decision. Hey, things are getting weird. We want to make sure we get home. Was that?
Probably be safer in Japan these days, but that's okay.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely miss it. It was a lot of fun being out there.
Yeah, where you get the best ramen?
Oh, Ichiran. That was my spot. Ichiran.
Okay.
Ichiran or Ippudo.
The really like street corners that nobody would ever dare go to. Those tend to make the best food, right?
Yeah.
In Asia, like I found that in China and Taiwan, it'd always be like a little cart or like a little store in the corner next to like the 7-Eleven. That's the best ramen. That's the best food. Best noodles or dumplings. Yeah.
I think some of the best places I ate were places that didn't have chairs. They were just, you walk up to it and it's like a little bar and they give you the food, you eat it, you don't even sit down, and then you leave. And it's great food.
Well,
interesting.
Yeah. All right. So you've talked a lot about what you do as a CEO. It's any story. I mean, you talked a little bit about failure, which is great. I like that. Like you have to fail sometimes to succeed. I think as an entrepreneur, you learn more from your mistakes in life. How boring is that? Is all you have is success? I mean, unless you're Elon, right? But seriously, and he might be an alien. Who thinks he's an alien?
It's probably an alien.
There you go. All right, 3 out of 3. That's good. But on a personal level, it's a fun, energetic place. Tell me about the culture at 302. What have you built, you and your team? I mean, it just seems like every time I see you guys at a trade show or an event, you're energetic, you're having fun, you're working on something. You got some great project managers. I mean, I'm bragging about you, but go ahead. Tell me.
Yeah. I mean, for us, our culture is really about just like taking care of our friends. I have as an entrepreneur, I have a very team first mentality, if that makes sense. I started off with a group of friends that wanted to do a thing, and every kind of decision we make, we try to make decisions based off the team, not based off of the product, if that makes sense. We want to make sure that if we're taking care of our team, then they'll take care of everything else. It's kind of, that old kind of saying. That's really the core of our culture. From there, it's really about just kind of having fun with the work that we do and making sure that it's enjoyable, not just for us, but for the people that we work with. And that kind of reflects in the products that we end up delivering.
I think so. I think it's been one of my great pleasures to watch you guys grow, and I
appreciate it.
love the energy I've seen, the leadership. I mean, you and Bobby and everybody is. It just seems like you're in a trajectory, and I love that energy that you're just growing. And right now, you're busier than ever. You have what, 2 new games, 2 new mobile games, and
Yep.
the card game that you can't talk about.
Yeah, not yet. Soon, couple months,
Based on a popular card game.
potentially.
Man, so close. I can almost say it, right? So I love everything I've seen, and very proud to I agree. I mean, if you take care of your teams and your employees, that first day experience. Even when I came to visit you guys for the first time, I had a great time just walking into the office, and it carries with you. You know, the first time you hang out with people, you work with them. How is the rest of the experience going to be? Chad, would you agree? Would you concur?
Oh, I concur fully.
He concurs.
I've known Kyle for a while, so he's done a fabulous job with building. With him and alongside Bobby, they've done a real solid job.
I got 2 of you in the line, so let's talk about what are you streaming right now? What are you guys watching?
Ooh, Chad, you go first.
This is a family-friendly show, Chad.
Yeah, right. So probably I'm trying to catch up on all of the DC related things on Netflix and stuff. So Black Lightning, Flash.
The latest one, the Apocalypse, where they take on, where it was like the last of the last few. Oh,
so I have to get to watch the Batwoman so I can get to the the crisis, because how I kind of facilitate my watching is I pick a show and then I watch it till I'm like, okay, I have no idea what's going on, or they're referencing something from a different show, and then I'll watch that show until it catches up to its own point. So with Final Crisis, I'm like, I have to watch Batwoman to be able to watch all of Final Crisis.
Well, I was more referring not to the WB shows, but to Apocalypse War, the cartoon, the Justice League Dark. Probably one of the best cartoons I've seen. Kyle, have you seen that?
I've seen it. It's pretty awesome.
I thought it was pretty dark.
Yeah.
Right? So what are you streaming?
I don't watch much TV, actually. It's not
what are you
really
playing? Talk about what game are you playing?
I've been playing Death Stranding, actually, which came out sometime last year.
Solid Snake.
It's very Hideo Kojima. It's which I appreciate. I like games that you can kind of see the designer in the game, and that's what you get from a Hideo Kojima game. You definitely see his personality throughout the entire experience.
I got to. I don't know if I shared this with you. I got to hang out with Norman Reedus at
Really?
MegaCon.
Cool.
There's a video of YouTube. I think I actually got to hang out with Stan Lee that year, and
nice.
True story, sat on his lap. He asked me to sit on his lap. It was like the 3rd time I've interviewed him. And it's really weird to say that. I sat on the lap of a 90-year-old who wasn't my grandfather. And we took a selfie. And I played on my phone the video of me interviewing him from like 2007 or 2006. It was a little odd, but I have a happy memory. I miss him. But rest his soul, a great guy. He I know he didn't remember me, but he always pretended to remember me. Because it's
Excelsior.
You meet hundreds of people at shows. By the time he gets to the plane, he forgot them already. That's the cool thing about being a celebrity. But Kojima, man, great. How about you, Chad? What games are you playing?
Me, probably slightly different. So my time is done in a competitive nature. So I do a lot of Call of Duty Warzone and Division 2, running clans and running.
Man, I don't have time for that.
Yep. So Division 2 just dropped their latest raid. So my clan and stuff are trying to get through that. So long hours and trying to figure out the puzzles. But yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to The Old Guard, which is going to be on Netflix this Friday because it's based on the comic book. Speaking of comic books, anybody here a reader? Are you reading books, comics? What are you guys reading?
I'm a big reader.
On COVID.
Actually, give me 1 second, Joe.
Okay, good. All right, Chad, how about you? Any comics, any books? What are you reading?
Comics, not really much lately. But books, I'm just trying to play catch up on kind of what's going on in the market and how that's kind of impacting, especially with COVID and stuff like that, kind of where trajectories are, and seeing how I can support in my capacity.
Good answer. Good. Oh, wait. I changed the format there. All right. I actually picked an old school comic that I love this week. Frank Miller and Dave Gibbons. You might know Dave Gibbons from the original cartoonist behind Watchmen. Frank Miller, everybody knows from RoboCop and some of the other things he's done, like Dark Knight Returns. This is Give Me Liberty, probably one of the lesser known properties. It's when he left DC to Dark Horse. And I don't know, I love Martha Washington is she's from Chicago, grew up in the projects, ends up joining the military in this futuristic 1980s style America. But it's so relevant today. Some of the discussions in this comic are, I tell you, it's like they're pulling a lot of things like the pandemic out of the news. There's a lot of classic Frank Miller. Anybody who's into dystopian futures would love picking up the trade paperback. I just happened to have a couple of the originals laying around. I reread it. Highly recommend it. Guys, I really want to thank everybody. It's that time to wrap up the show. We've gone over our time, but I love talking about games, video games, mobile development, projects, technology, and having innovators on the show. Thank you once again. And Chad, when you come, do you have a cup there? We can't.
Oh, I do have a cup, and
Joel,
I just happen to be
Joel,
having a Fallout cup.
Ah, that's awesome!
There you go.
There you go. Cheers, man.
Cheers, everyone.
Thank you so much for coming to the show, guys. I want to thank you, and I'm gonna a little Pac-Man here for my sound effect. Guys, I'll see you tomorrow on the next episode of Tech Fireside Chats. Have a great afternoon. Bye.
See you guys.
Cool.